Welcome to The Bold Book of the Day with Dr. Denise Nicholson, a show that is a central hub and safe space for authors to share their stories. The Bold Book with Dr. Denise begins now.
All right. Hello. Welcome back to the Bold Book of the Day podcast. This podcast is for anyone looking for inspiration. Today, I want to welcome Ms. Jennifer Elwell Comeau. She is the author of A Moon in All Things. It is a beautifully crafted historical fantasy, and I can't wait for her to share the message and the reason why she had to write this book. Please welcome Jennifer.
Thank you, Denise. Oh, I'm so excited to be here. I love your program.
Thank you for being such a great support. She has listened to my podcast, everyone. Okay, so before you come up here, try to listen to something, okay? Jennifer, what inspired you to write A Moon in All Things? First of all, I love the name, but what inspired you?
Thank you. I had a dream. Not kidding. I woke one morning, and this was in the fall of 2014, so that long ago. And I had four, in the dream time, as you just wake up, sometimes you can almost see scenes in your mind. And I had four scenes that was just lingering in my imagination. The first was a woman standing on a cliff overlooking a sea. The second was, I won't spoil it, a non-human messenger whose eyes were piercing mine. And the third scene was looked like a circle of people in a grove, like an ancient grove. And the last scene was something I recognized immediately as a place in Ireland, and it's called the Burren. The Burren doesn't look like the rest of Ireland. It's not the rolling green landscape. It's this lunar limestone scree kind of landscape. So why that's important is when I recognized what that was, I suddenly said, wow, those are four scenes in Ireland, the home of my ancestors. And I was raised and more like initiated from one teacher to understand that dreams come to a person for a reason, and they come in their time for a reason. And so I didn't just sort of cast it off like, oh, it's a stress thing. I don't know, whatever that is. I said, wait a minute, this is something to pay attention to. And so I did. And I thought about it. I was immersed in the corporate world. I was working as a corporate executive. I had zero time, no time to play, no time to return to my love of writing. And I thought, this is coming to me for a reason. I need to pay attention.
Now, you said that you got this in a dream. Do you always remember your dream?
I am a big dreamer. I had a dream coach. I have a dream group. There's something about dreams. I think because my degrees are in engineering. And even though I have a poet's heart and I loved writing as a child, I entered a career of engineering because as one of 8 kids, I had parents that said, you got to get a job that pays well, go away, get out. With love, of course. And so I developed that left brain to where I think the only time my still small voice or spirit or your higher self, however you want to call that, could actually penetrate that my brain was when I was asleep. So I began to realize this is where the messages are coming from, will come in the dream. So I trained myself to, just as I'm waking up, am I dreaming, and catch it. There's a reason there's dream catchers in the world.
Because you have to catch a dream. This is so not coincidental and coincidental at the same time, because I don't believe in coincidences.
Right.
And this morning, I had a conversation with someone about dreams. She was saying that her mother has not dreamt her. Her mother passed 2 years ago, and she's feeling like, how could my mother not, give me a dream or come to see me in my dream or visit any one of us in her dream? And I was saying to her, do you know that you really need to lay still for a few minutes after you wake up to catch your dream. I didn't use the word catch, but that is
Yeah,
exactly what I'm talking about. You need to catch your dream. You need to be still for a while. Do you believe that?
I do. And I also believe in setting an intention at night. So before I go to bed at
Uh-huh.
night, I really invite, I say, please send me a dream, send it in a way that I can remember it, send it in a way that
Mhm.
I can understand it, and just something that I need to know now in my life. What's important? What's a message that could benefit me? And one of my teachers says, all dreams come for help and healing. So that's, even though the scary ones, and they, oh my goodness, there have been a lot of scary ones lately, I just have to remember that they're all coming to deliver a message of some way, shape, or form. And dreams are actually very big in my book because I had the protagonist, whose name is Morgan Lane.
Mhm.
Her dreams in the novel help reveal some things as she's on this quest of hers. So her dreams are coming in the same way that they came to me. And in fact, a lot of her dreams were my dreams. So I just embedded them into the character.
Wow. I'm big on dreaming and remembering those dreams because I haven't studied dreams in no way, shape, or form close to what you have, but I have a very strong relationship with dreams because dreams have helped me and revealed things to me along
Mhm.
my life, like vivid things. Like if it weren't for the dreams, I wouldn't have known this thing. And it when I share the dream with people, they're like, "Oh my God, that's spooky." But I haven't
Yeah.
studied dreams. But there was once an Oprah Winfrey show many years ago, and on that show, she had a woman that came on and was explaining how we can interpret our dreams because I'm interested. So I
Mhm.
listened and I took notes. And many years after that, I started to see my dreams unfold or catch my dreams. I think
Yeah.
like I wake up and catch my dreams. And so, your book is just a confirmation that like our dreams can really share different things to us. And one of those things I believe is, yes, literal, your dreams can be literal. Sometimes, your dreams mean exactly what it's showing you. But there are times, like in most of my dreams, when they are symbolic.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. A
Yeah.
lot of time people think, oh, well, if my husband was in the dream, does that mean it's really my husband? I said, well, it's actually, it can be a metaphor for someone with whom you have a sacred contract of some sort.
Yes.
So it doesn't necessarily always translate to the actual person, more what that person represents at a symbolic level. And I'm big into symbolism, and I think that's probably why this "A Moon in All Things," my novel,
Yes.
has this sort of enchantment in it because what what I was doing when I was writing it. So I am not a plotter. I
Uh-huh.
sort of stared at the blank page and listened. And I have a whole flip chart over here in my office with all the characters. And I would just, in writing a specific scene, I would say, look at the character. What is true for you in this scene, Morgan? And so I would sort of be taking dictation in a way because
Yeah.
I felt that I had done enough of a deep dive into who are these characters before I even started writing, that I felt that they were real and I knew them. And they are an energetic life force. I mean, every idea is an energetic life force. So why wouldn't these characters also have their own energy? So Betha, the mother, is sort of, she loves her daughter. She's jealous of her daughter because her daughter has these knowings, this sixth sense that her grandmother had. And usually, that knowing, those intuitive capabilities, skip one generation. It skipped the mother and landed
Ah.
on her daughter. So there's jealousy there. She loves her, but she doesn't want her to go down that path because it's so dangerous to
Mhm.
those in power to have knowings that they don't have. And so back to the symbology. So a lot of what happens in the story during her quest is she's listening. Her mentor Crone says, when you are listening, everything is a part of the conversation. The way the trees bend in the wind, whether you see crows flying overhead, how the water wends its way along the river. There's a message in everything. And when I was writing this novel, I was in that sort of world where I was so listening for what wants to be in this story and how does the story want to unfold, because I really felt it was in some ways a sacred assignment.
Yeah.
When you get that. And just going back to once, and this has happened only once, but this is why I really paid attention to that dream. Way back in 2006, I was stuck in my corporate job. It had served me well, by society's definition of success, which means money, titles, minions, status. Like none of that mattered really to me. It was draining my soul of meaning. So I was longing to return to what I loved to do as a kid, which was write and go outside and play in the woods. But I thought I was stopping myself because I thought, A, I don't have time. B, I haven't, all I took was technical writing in college. I don't have any pedigree around writing. But I went into a guided meditation, very deep. And in that meditation, I saw a woman backlit. She was in what we might think of as a canoe in Ireland. A canoe is like a currach. So she was in a currach, backlit, couldn't tell her age. And I very distinctly heard, you write for all of us grandmothers who came before you. And I'm getting chills as I even say that. It's
I'm getting chills.
That's the most direct invitation that I have ever gotten to say, you know what? You're not living authentically right now. You are in this crazy corporate world where you have to check your soul at the door. Guess what? There's a reason you loved writing as a kid. Get back there. So that's what I did. I finally said, okay, you don't think you have the chops to do it? Go hone your craft. Take the courses, take the workshops. And I did. And so when I got that dream in 2014, I said, okay, no, this is for real. They want you to write this story.
Yeah.
The ancestors.
Listen, I believe so strongly that if you have a desire and a calling on your heart to do something, get prepared, because the confidence that you will get from getting prepared, doing the research, going to a class. And guess what? Maybe you can't afford to do the university. Maybe you can't afford to get the mentor that, is the person to go to for this thing that you have a desire to do. But boy, oh boy, there is YouTube University, there is Google University, and now we got Chat GPT University. There is nothing stopping you from getting the education that you need to pursue your goals, your desires, because you will become so much more just from going to the research and doing the work and getting the knowledge. You will become confident because yes, you want to do something and you are feeling sometimes we just feel overwhelmed by the thought of doing this thing. We've never done it before, yet we have a desire to do it. But you have that desire because you're capable, first of all.
And I think I've said that when we become all lined up on the inside, in other words, when we're living authentically and our heart longs for something, then the universe conspires to fulfill it, because I firmly believe that's why we are here, is to use our gifts, to use that which lies as such an incredible longing on our hearts. And so when we follow that, I can't help but think the universe, is the wind behind us, and
everything comes into play to prepare you for these moments, because It is God. It is the universe. It is whatever you call it. It
Yeah.
is rooting for you.
Yes.
It is rooting for you. And so the minute you start to be the person you want, and the person you want to become there's a thing that they do. There are things that they do. They just start to do those things. Be, do, have. Be the person, do the thing, you'll have the thing that you want so badly.
Mm.
Girl, Jennifer, I can't. I love I love the language. I love how you speak.
Yeah.
And I realize, do you think that Morgan Lane, her courageous character, do you think that some of her is a reflection of who you are?
Yes. It can't not be really,
Mm-hmm.
because she does go on an inner journey and an outer quest to discover what is hers to do. So there's not a spoiler here to say that what happens is she doesn't fit in. She has these knowings. She sets and she's longing for freedom from the confines of what women are expected to do. Keep the hearth tidy, find the best man in the village and marry them and have a bunch of children,
Mm.
work the land. And she wants to be a sea captain.
Oh.
And she's told women are not allowed to be sea
Mm.
captains. So in that sort of frustrating existence, suddenly a messenger appears from the other world, which is that invisible realm, a thin plane away. And the messenger says, you are Anincha, that's Irish Gaelic.
Mm-hmm.
You are special. You have gifts. You must use those gifts. And healing is required. Your village needs to be healed. And she looks around and she's thinking, well, no one's sick. And so she goes on this journey to discover what is healing really. It's way more than the physical. And so she's looking and searching for what's hers to do and how much is she willing to risk to do it. And so my life has not been as risky in that sense,
Mm-hmm.
because in 1820s Galway Bay, Ireland, a woman who has those knowings would have been considered very dangerous. But
Mm-hmm.
my risk was taking what my husband fondly calls the 99% pay cut to,
Girl,
to
dangerous
follow
zone.
to follow my calling. So that's a huge risk. It's not a dangerous kind of risk, but it
It's
carries with
huge.
it, yeah, its
Yeah.
own commitment. And so when I did that, and I couldn't be in both worlds, I couldn't be in this enchanting world in Ireland. And also, my last project was with the Security and Exchange Commission, believe it or not. This is all the left brain money
My
people, and
goodness.
I'm trying to like be in this
So
magic.
opposite. Yeah.
I said, I can't do it. My head's going to explode. So anyway, so there is a lot of me in this character in the sense of I call myself, I'm from engineering to enchantment. So this journey of mine has been to come home to who it is that I've always wanted to be, no matter the cost. So yeah, so she's in there. I'm in her.
Let's touch on the character that wanted to be a sea captain, and if she that was just a dream for her, and then she couldn't fulfill that dream because in her village, like in that era, that's not what women do, honey. So
Yeah.
let's touch on how we have come a long way because women like what was the character's name? Um,
Morgan. Yeah.
Morgan
Morgan Lang is
that
the character.
wanted to become a
Right.
sea captain. People like Morgan only dream, and now we have the responsibility of honoring those women who came before that. I mean, she eventually, was strong and went out there and did what she wanted to do, but there are women now that have a dream that are afraid to do it. And I
Mhm.
believe that it's our responsibility to live out our dreams to the fullest because of the people that didn't even have the opportunity to live out their dreams. It wasn't the thing.
Right. Right. So right, Denise, you've got it. That there's a responsibility that we have
Yeah.
to fulfill whatever is ours to do in the world. And I am a big believer in that each of us is being called to contribute something. I call it a noble contribution.
Mm-hmm.
Contribute something greater than their own personal gain.
Mm-hmm.
And that the paradox in that is that the rewards and the richness that returns because you're following your heart and you're giving something that's for the common good, to make the world a more beautiful and better place.
Mm-hmm.
It's so fulfilling. And one of the things that I do a fair bit of speaking, and one of the things I talk about is how society's definition for success is really bass backwards. That it's we've been programmed to think it's all about owning things and having enough money to buy things, when really, when we begin to say, well, what really would make my heart sing, i I dare say it's not the big boat over there in the yard, or the something else over there. It's whatever is inside that wants to be expressed. And
Mm-hmm.
boy, oh boy, I don't want to be one of those people that's on their deathbed saying, I wish I had done fill in the blank. Just don't want to be that person.
Mm. I It sounds like your book, the story blends myth, history, and emotions. And I can't help but wonder, how did you blend those three elements while you were writing?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I had to keep the research aside from the writing. So I would, as I was writing, I would say, put a little note in the comments, or in the margin, saying, research how much um, a fish would cost, or
Okay.
research what were the so in 1820s Ireland, there were things called the penal laws, which the English had imposed upon the Irish poor to keep them subjugated so that they could eventually dominate. And then in 1801 is when England finally said, now Ireland is ours. And so this is 1820s. And so the Irish had lost all their land, and had to now, it was subleased back to them, and they had to pay tithes into the church that was not their own church, and they had to pay rent to the landowner who was British. Anyway, so I would just sort of say to the side, research all this stuff,
Yeah.
so that I didn't stop myself in the flow of my writing.
Yeah.
And then what I did is I went over to, I've been there several times, but I went over to work with a University of Galway professor in history and language. Niall O'Kissewin is his name. And so thank you, Niall. Uh, and so he gave me, if you'd have seen, like, Denise, it's huge, this big pile of books and PDFs and things. He's like, buy this one, buy that one, buy this one. And so I have the whole bookshelves full. These are my best friends behind me, my books. Bookshelves full of that research. So then I would go back and ensure the veracity of the research. But I didn't let it stop the flow of my writing. Yeah.
Well done, beautifully crafted. And one of the things that I love about this is the way that the Irish sea god was able to play an intricate and a key role in Morgan's journey. What drew you to that conclusion?
Yes, this Irish sea god, Manannán Mac Clear,
Mm-hmm.
is in very deep in Irish mythology,
Mm-hmm.
and he's considered a bridger to the other world.
Mm.
So that, and he, it is thought, and again in Irish mythology, that he ferries the souls of the dead to the other world, to those realms. And so I thought that I wanted someone who is a bridger to that world of enchantment, that world of the invisible subtle realms, to come to her as the inciting incident, as the, hey girl, there's something going on here and you got to pay attention because your life isn't going to be like every other young woman's life in this village. You are different. And so instead of, she learned at a young age just to keep quiet because she had all this like, we'd call it countercultural today, but all of this like, that's not fair. Why do the men get to do the fishing and why can't I do, all that's like pent up. And she just learned that she has to be quiet. And so then when this sea god comes and invites her into the sea, that's the opening chapter, and invites her on this journey, she realizes that, okay, I'm not in Kansas anymore.
I can just imagine I can't wait to read this book. Guys, I have not read the book. I've just did my research and read what reviewers thought and read the summary. And I can't wait to read it for myself. Some of the reviewers, as a matter of fact, many of the reviewers, they have described the novel as lyrical and atmospheric. What was your process in creating a lyrical atmosphere?
Well, first of all, I'm a singer-songwriter. That's another thing.
That's okay.
That's another thing that I did when I was changing over from, because I was the kid that grew up. I'm one of 8 children. My mother would just drop into song and we'd all join in. We loved to sing. So singing is lyrical. And in fact, I was just speaking with a fellow author, and she's reading A Moon in All Things. And she said, I can tell you're a musician. I can tell you're a singer by the way you're writing this book. And it's Irish. The Irish are storytellers. So the whole bardic tradition of music and storytelling and come on and sit by the hearth and I'm going to tell you a story is in my cells. And so I knew that I wanted the once upon a time there lived a young woman kind of writing.
Yeah.
Which the omniscient, so it's an omniscient narrator, and then it goes right into close third person where you're in the head of whoever, the girl. There's multiple points of view. But I wanted that classic once upon a time. Because I wanted people to just drop into 1820s Ireland and feel like they're there. And so many people have said that they feel like the characters are their neighbors, like their best friends. They so come to life on the pages. And, I don't have control of that. That's the reader's experience. I just have control over what's the story that wanted to be written. But I was fed with so many anecdotes growing up from my mother, talking about this Irish ancestor, that Irish ancestor. The pub owner in this book, Connie McDonough is the character's name. He's patterned after Connie O'Rourke, who's my great-great-grandfather. And my mother used to tell us stories that, Connie O'Rourke, he was a pub owner. He was his own best customer. And, this kind of stuff. So I have Connie McDonough, taking a little nip from now and time to time. But I think because I was raised on songs and stories, that's what comes to life on the page when I write a story. And there are original songs, by the way. I'm not sure if you knew that. In the back is QR codes to the songs that I wrote. So, you can put your smartphone on the...
Yes, and scan it. Yeah.
Yeah, and scan it. And I recorded these songs with Berklee School of Music here in Boston. Some of the best world-class Irish musicians. It was so fun. I felt like it was just so exciting to do that. Yeah.
Oh, what a project. It just seems so well intentional. So everything is especially curated for the audience. And I feel like for the healing of the audience, not just the storytelling, but there's a certain kind of healing that you get from music. And I believe, I'm thinking about your mom, and I believe that, having 8 children, honey, it is, it's no small fit. Okay.
Yeah.
So exactly. I believe that's her way of of healing, her
Mhm.
self-love time, just start to sing and then engage her children into singing and calming their asses down too.
Yeah, she was amazing. She was so amazing, and I firmly believe that when I did get that message, "You write for all of us who came before," that that
Hmm.
that was the female lineage. And sometimes I imagine, I don't know if you've ever heard of this, that off of your left shoulder is all the female line, and off of your right shoulder are all the males, and they're standing behind you, cheering
Wow.
and just hoping you'll realize life is precious, and boy, oh boy, use your gifts. Just use them, because that's what you're here for. So
Yeah.
sometimes I imagine that as I'm writing, it's like they're right behind you. Yeah. So
Some of the issues, or the book touches on healing gifts and intuition, which are considered or dismissed as dangerous in our time, or maybe in those time too, like you've
yeah.
mentioned before. So what do you think that says about society and how they treat women's power? Because I believe men have their intuition, but I believe that it is something that is even more uh, of the fabric of women than it
Hmm.
is for men.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
that a lot of times, people talk about the divine feminine is more of the intuitive, the nurturing,
yeah,
that kind of energy, and the divine masculine is the structure and the very important planning and
yeah.
that's why so part of the healing theme in the book is about returning to balance.
Yes.
And so she is the the actual line in the book is, it is the way of things that the fate of the world depends on the fate of your own small village. And isn't that so
Say
true?
that again, because I so strongly believe that the weight of who I am comes from where my small village. So please say that
Yeah,
again.
it is the way of
People in
things
the back.
that the fate of the world rests upon the fate of your own small village.
Hmm.
And it's that expression we've all heard is local. If you want to change the world, change yourself first.
Yes.
Change the community for the better. And if everyone's doing that, the world changes.
Yeah.
So that's really the message that she receives. And so she goes on a journey to discover, and she has these encounters and finds her great grandmother's healing instruments. So there's three healing instruments that she finds, and so that's part of her journey.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's quite extraordinary to think of healing in terms of, in fact, there's a, I don't think I'm spoiling anything here by saying
No, no, tell us, because I'm still gonna read, and the audience is
there's
still gonna get it.
this is a healing parchment
Oh.
that really what she is able to do is, these are all symbols, and with a
Hmm.
center glyph that pulses with life when she holds it, only when she holds it. So what she's able to do is use that parchment almost like a metaphor for her own intuition, to
Hmm.
say, what about, because she learns there are five aspects of healing: the body, mind, spirit, heart, and terra meaning how you walk in the world. And so
Hmm.
she learns that everyone has five cords of connection that are part of this integrated web of the world tree, which is what the Irish would say, the world tree. And that when someone is ill, something is frayed in one of those five cords. And so she has to figure out, using that parchment, that mysterious pigskin parchment that's ancient, 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 how to use that to help heal. And in the case of the story, she's got a very special relationship with the landowner's daughter, Mistress Mary, and
Hmm.
so she's being asked by the mistress to help the mistress heal something she's got going on. I won't say any more after that. Yeah.
I can't. I'm. Where can readers get this book? Because I'm ready for everybody to join our reading club and read this book. A
Thank
moon
you.
in all things. That's our
A moon,
next book. Yeah.
yeah. Everywhere books are sold is the
Yes.
short answer. So, of course, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, bookshop.org, which most people may not know that the bookshop.org is a nonprofit that actually utilizes local bookstores to supply your book to them.
Yeah.
And of course, you can always ask for it at your local bookstore and they can order it. And I do visits to book clubs. I love those, even if it's on Zoom or whatever. And
Yeah.
my own website is Jennifer Comeau, COMEAU.com. And there, if you put in code 20, capital CODE 20, you can get a 20% discount on the book. And I will happily send you, I've got some, don't think I have, like a, bookmark, and I've got a recipe card. I don't know if it's in here. Oh yeah, I do. So what in
I love it.
1820s, what they would have had to eat, Colcannon,
Mm.
which is of course a potato-based dish, what
Uh-huh.
they may have had to drink, mead, during the holidays, and then what they might have foraged for as far as some of the herbal medicines that they would have used. So that comes with the book if you order from my website.
Guys, please go out there because I already I'm feeling that this book has um not just the healing you get from reading and seeing what people like Morgan had to go through in her era just to live out her dreams, or or an attempt to live out her dreams. But I feel like this book has a mystical part where you're learning some deep lessons that can help you with today. It is not just, you know, a good read. It's not just a good novel, but I feel like there are some lessons to glean from that book. What do you think? What do you want the audience to learn from there?
I my hope, and I did, by the way, I put in a conjuring spell.
I want it.
Conjuring spell that when I would sit down to write, I would say, may my words be imbued with the sweetest, most beguiling invitation to fall in love again with the whole world, all of nature, and so that we choose differently. We don't overconsume. We don't um, use the resources on this very finite planet in ways that are
Enough.
irresponsible.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did, is I would write this. And so I'm hoping that the story can be read as a story. But what's so funny, Kirkus Reviews called it atmospheric and beguiling. They used the exact same word, beguiling, that I
I saw
used in my
that.
conjuring spell. I
I
mean, that if that's not synchronous, I don't know what is, but it was like, oh my gosh, I said sweetest, most beguiling invitation. Anyway, so yes, it can be read at multiple levels, not just a good story. My hope is that it's read at a level where you're like, wow, I was wondering what's mine to do given the dissolving of a lot of our systems and structures today. Like I was worried, I'm thinking, okay, why not take the leap and really follow my heart right now when there's so much uncertainty? This is the time. So I'm hoping that that's what readers are inspired to do.
When you read the incredible review from Kirkus, what was that moment like, hearing such praise for your work?
I know I cried. Because one does not know.
Yes.
All I know is I just needed to show up for this book and write
Hmm.
it and hire the editors to make it sing as best as
Yes.
it could. And then it's not up to me anymore. But so when I got that review, now Kirkus, as many know, they do that sandwich where they start saying good things and then in the middle they say, but the whole second
So you're
part of the book and the character, and then but it wasn't so bad after all. Like it's like this, whatever that sandwich is. They didn't have anything bad to say about
oh
my
my
book, nothing. And so I just kept saying, oh my gosh. And I'm a spiritual person. I was thanking every angel, every ancestor, every creature that walked this earth. Thank you.
Yes, yes, yes.
Just their energy, the energy. Just thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Menan McLur. You was thanking the
Yeah,
sea god.
absolutely. Thank you, the Irish sea god.
Beautiful. I appreciate you coming on here and sharing the magic of your book, A Moon in All Things. I am intrigued. I am looking forward to reading it, and I know that this is going to be a bigger hit than you can ever imagine. I can feel it in the spirit.
Mm.
It reminds me a lot of The Alchemist, which I have read, and so now I can't wait to read it because it seems as mystical and as knowledgeable as that. So I'm looking forward to that. And I see that this was a call-in. This is something bigger than than you imagine. You dreamt that this was the road that you needed to go down on. And I appreciate that you were able and had the resources to travel that road because
Mm.
like Morgan, she had this dream, but she didn't have the resources. It wasn't her era. It wasn't that time. But you are now living in an era where you can actually live out a dream,
Yeah.
and you had the resources to help you make that so possible. And it's so hopeful for women now and for the women in the future that you have, brought this book to life. Thank you
Mm.
so much for doing your part.
Thank you, Denise.
Now, there are three questions that I love to ask my guests before they go. And so I would love for you to tell us a bold statement that you can share with the audience.
Well, I guess it's the one that I've been saying since I learned the lesson around it, which is stop climbing everybody else's mountain. The
Mm,
only mountain longing to be climbed is your own.
mm.
Yeah.
Ooh, you are so Paulo Coelho right now. No, for the wisdom that comes from you. I
Mm.
love that. Okay. All right. That was for me. Now, now, is there a bold statement that you can make that may cause a paradigm shift to the listener?
Mm. I think the boldest statement I can make is get all lined up on the inside. And when you do, you're going to be living in joy and following your heart. And there's really nothing more important than being authentic and being in alignment. And then until and unless we can start listening to that which our heart longs for, we won't know what that is. So,
And
yeah.
and does it mean when you say get all lined up in the inside, what does that mean? Because so many people are listening and they want to feel aligned. They want to get on that path of being their authentic self, but they don't know what that feels like. They don't know what that looks like. They don't know.
Yeah. I'd say follow your heart.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first place to start. Start tuning into what is it that makes my heart sing or happy or what my heart longs for. The heart can never lead us astray, ever.
Mm-hmm. Follow your
Yeah.
heart. It will never lead you astray. What's a bold move that you'd like to make in the future? This is such a brave, you know, path
Mm.
that you've already started on. But what's next for you? What are you thinking of doing?
Mm. Well, my bold move in 2026 will be to continue this story with these characters. Yes, I loved it. And can I see what happens in the future? Is there a way that you can keep these characters front and center for us? So I'm going to, I guess I'll call it a sequel, or sometime in the future. I don't know. It's not going to necessarily start the next day, but it might. But 2026 is going to be the time when I return to the research and return to what it is that the characters want now in terms of a story to be told.
Beautiful. Well said. Thank you so much. Please share with the audience where they can get your book one more time.
Yes. Start with my website if you like, jennifercomeau.com. And there's also, I have an award-winning children's book. You'll have to have me on for that one too.
Yes. Please, yes. Let's schedule that ASAP.
Okay. And other things there. And code CODE all caps 20 gives you a 20% discount. And then everywhere books are sold. So whatever's most convenient is what I tell people. Wherever it's easiest for you to purchase, you can purchase it there.
Okay, you heard it here. And if you'd like to get on her tribe, please send her get on her website or send her an email. But join her tribe, follow her on all social medias. What's your social media?
Well, it's I'm on just about all of them. It's at Jennifer Elwell Comeau on Instagram and Facebook, and we can start there. Anyway.
Yes. Start there. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Guys,
Thank you, Denise.
You are so welcome. If you are listening, please go out and get the book. It is going to be intriguing, if not just give you a message of hope and inspiration. It will help you to have some take part into a mystical world. And
Absolutely.
So go out there and get this book. Thank you very much. Okay. And if you have, the book is A Moon in All Things. So write it down, A Moon in All Things. Please go out there and get it. And it's by Jennifer Elwell Comeau. It's spell your last name again for me.
COM is in Mary, EAU. Comeau.
Okay, Comeau. Go out there and get the book and support her. Thank you very much. And then if you have been dreaming of writing a book for yourself, join me on Sundays for a writing class. And just start there because you have a desire and you are now living in an era where you don't need someone else's permission to publish your book. As a matter of fact, that is not the way anymore. You can self-publish, okay? So I encourage you to publish your book if you have a dream of writing. Get it out there. Get that book done. Send me an email to authordnicholson@gmail.com, or you can visit my website at boldpublishings.com. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us for the Bold Book of the Day with Dr. Denise Nicholson, a central hub and a safe space for authors to share their stories. Follow Dr. Denise on Facebook and Instagram at Denise Nicholson, or go to denisenicholson.com. Remember, no one can share your story better than you.